Today's lesson is called Coral Reefs, Keeping Our Oceans Colorful. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Today we're going to continue talking about coral reefs, and a good reason for us to talk about coral reefs today is because this year is the 3rd International Year of the Reef. Of course, that is according to the International Coral Reef Initiative. They want people to know about the crisis that is going on with coral reefs. They're in trouble. They are dying out because of global warming, and we need to call attention to this, and that's why we're talking about it again today.
That's why we're talking about it again today, indeed. Yes, everyone, coral reefs are unbelievably important for the oceans and for marine life. But as we learned on the first part of our lesson, coral reefs themselves are really, really interesting entities. They're not plants, they're not rocks, but they kind of look like rocks and plants together. In fact, coral reefs are living animals, many smaller animals called polyps that work together with algae and other things to form unbelievably large structures in some cases, like Australia's Great Barrier Reef, which is more than 2,300 kilometers long. Just think how much life is in and around that reef. It boggles the imagination. Anyways, folks, let's go ahead and take a break, but when we come back, we'll start discussing the first part of Day 2 of our article on coral reefs.
Coral reefs are marine ecosystems that are full of life. Around a quarter of all ocean species depend on them for food and shelter. Unfortunately, they are under serious threat. According to the United Nations, all live coral reefs could disappear by 2050 if nothing is done to protect them. If they disappear, so will many marine species.
大家好，首先我们看到的单字是 ecosystem， 这个字当作名词，代表生态系统的意思。所以我们可以说 The topic of this speech is ecosystem. 生态系统是这个演讲的主题。顺便补充一下，这个字的字首 eco 是与生态有关的意思，像是 eco-friendly 就是环保的或是不损害环境的意思。那就可以说 This detergent is eco-friendly but expensive. 这个清洁剂虽然是环保的，但很昂贵。下一个我们看到的单字是副词 unfortunately， 代表遗憾的或是不幸的意思。例如 We will unfortunately have to wait about an hour before a table will be available in the restaurant. 不幸的是，我们需要等待1个小时，餐厅才会有空位。另外，这个字的反义词是副词 fortunately， 表达幸运的或是幸好的意思。因此就可以说 Fortunately, it didn't start to rain until the concert in the park was finished. 幸好雨在公园演唱会结束后才开始下。
Okay, again, the subject for today is coral reefs. So let's continue talking about coral reefs in today's program. So let's look at the first paragraph for today's lesson. Here it begins by saying, coral reefs are marine ecosystems that are full of life. So here the sentence is telling us that a coral reef isn't just sitting there by itself. It's actually active. It's an ecosystem in the ocean, a marine ecosystem. Remember, we talked about that word marine last time. It means something that has to do with the oceans. And here it's an ecosystem, which is kind of an environment where everything has these symbiotic relationships with each other. They depend on each other. So it's kind of a society, a system, or an ecosystem.
There you go. It's a habitat for many marine organisms. Yes, coral reefs support all manner of marine organisms. We're talking from lobsters to fish to shrimp to crabs. Anything you want to find in the ocean, you can probably find around a big enough coral reef. Anyways, get this. Okay, we all know that coral reefs support a wide variety of ocean life and marine life. But let's put a number to this. Just how much of the world's marine life do coral reefs support? Get this. It's around a quarter of all ocean species. Yes, the next sentence says around a quarter of all ocean species depend on them, coral reefs, for food and shelter. Okay, remember the polyps, the individual polyps that make up the coral reefs are quite small. So a regular-sized fish isn't going to care about the coral reef. That coral reef is not going to try to eat it. In fact, the coral reef might be a good place to stay safe. It might be a good form of shelter. So, what is a shelter? Let's make it totally clear here. A shelter is a place where an animal or maybe even a person can go to be safe or to get protection in some way, shape, or form. Around the corner from my house, there's actually an animal shelter. Luckily, that hasn't gone out of business, though the restaurant on the other corner has. But right now, if you want to go pick up an animal that has been endangered or been abandoned, you can go to this animal shelter, a place that takes in animals and keeps them safe. But here, this coral reef is a shelter in nature.
Yes, you need to find shelter sometimes. Like one time when I was visiting my cousins in Oklahoma, we were out hiking by a river, and then a tornado started to appear, and we needed to find shelter quickly. Fortunately, it was not a very strong tornado, so we were safe, and it went a different direction. But if it had come toward us, we would have been in trouble. We would have needed to find shelter. So here, back to the subject here, coral reefs are actually kind of a sanctuary or a shelter for lots of ocean species. A quarter of all ocean species depend on those coral reefs to get something to eat and to find protection. Now, unfortunately, they are under serious threat. So unfortunately, yes, that's the problem. It's a nice system there, this ecosystem of the coral reef. It'd be nice if they could live forever, but, well, no, it's not the case. Unfortunately, they are threatened and they might be destroyed sometime soon.
Yes, coral reefs are under serious threat. According to the United Nations, all live coral reefs could disappear by 2050 if nothing is done to protect them. So that's only 30 years in the future or so. Just a little bit more than 30 years. If we do nothing, all live coral reefs could die and disappear if we do nothing. And that's pretty scary. You have to imagine that 1/4 of all ocean species might go down with the coral reefs when they die, which is not good for anyone. Yes, the article says it best. If they, the coral reefs, disappear, so will many marine species.
And that just means they will also disappear. You might say this, hey, I will go to the movie tonight. You might say, well, I will too. Or you could say, so will I. They mean the same thing. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first paragraph for today. Let's move on to the next paragraph. We'll listen first.
One of the biggest threats to coral reefs is rising water temperature from global warming. High water temperatures cause the corals to stress out, expel the algae living inside them, and turn white. This is called coral bleaching, and while it doesn't kill the corals, it weakens them to the point of dying. Polluted waters, overfishing, and overharvesting of corals also harm reefs.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 expel， 这个动词是驱逐或是排出的意思。例如 The member was expelled from the club because he broke the rules. 那名成员因为违反规则而被俱乐部除名。或者我们也可以这样说 John takes a deep breath and then slowly expels air from his lungs. John 深呼吸后缓慢地将空气从肺中呼出。接下来我们看到的单字是 bleach， 这个字当作动词，它有漂白或是褪色的意思。所以我们可以说 Sarah decided to bleach her hair to look like her favorite pop star. 为了要看起来像她最喜欢的明星 ，Sarah 决定要去漂白头发。另外，课文中的 coral bleaching 是珊瑚白化的意思。那我们就可以说 When it comes to global warming, coral bleaching is one of the important issues. 谈及全球暖化时，珊瑚白化是重要的议题之一。今天最后一个单字，我们看到的是动词 weaken， 它有削弱或是减弱的意思。例如 Julie's strong singing voice gradually weakened as she got older. Julie 岁数增长后，她雄厚的嗓音逐渐的减弱。顺便来补充这个字的反义词 strengthen， 这个动词有增强或是强化的意思。那就可以说 If you want to strengthen your legs, you should climb the stairs instead of using the elevator. 如果你想强化你的脚力，你应该爬楼梯而不是坐电梯。
Everyone, it's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious if coral reefs disappear, so will many marine species. It's not a good state of affairs at all. Anyways, what is killing these coral reefs? Okay, what is putting these coral reefs in harm's way? Let's find out. Well, one of the biggest threats to coral reefs is rising water temperature from global warming. So the Earth is getting hotter, and this is going to have an effect on the oceans as well. The Earth is getting hotter, and so are the oceans. Yes, there are rising water temperatures right now on planet Earth due to global warming. Now, before we move on, let's talk about the word temperature. When we're talking about temperature, we're talking about how hot or how cold something is. Yeah, temperature is a measurement used to determine how hot or cold something is. Sometimes my daughter feels a little bit warm and we need to put a thermometer in her mouth so as to take her temperature. We want to know if she has a fever or not, so we use this thermometer thing to measure her temperature.
Yes, we use the word temperature to talk about the body's temperature and the temperature of the air outside. Boy, it's summer now. It's really hot. What's the temperature today? Ooh, it's 35 degrees Celsius. Ooh, that's so hot. That is a very high temperature. So yes, the water temperature here is going up because of global warming. And high water temperatures cause the corals to stress out, expel the algae living inside them, and turn white. So those high temperatures can cause damage to the corals. They are under threat from global warming. They will stress out, which means they're having a lot of pressure. You might stress out at work if your boss keeps giving you more assignments and asks you to work overtime and maybe come in on Saturday or something. Oh, I'm so stressed out. There's so much pressure. And here they might expel the algae, which means they'll just kick them out. They'll get rid of them. Sometimes you might be expelled from school if you don't behave yourself.
And remember, this doesn't sound like much, but the algae and the coral, they live together in a symbiotic relationship. So if they kick the algae out, where are they going to get their food? And where are they going to get their color too? It's something you should really think about. Anyways, yes, if you stress something out, okay, you cause that thing to suffer because you've put pressure or strain on that thing. Like Roger said before, if you stress someone out or you stress out someone, you kind of overwork that person to the point that they start to suffer. Anyways, let's talk about these corals turning white. Okay, the process of these corals turning white, this is called coral bleaching, and while it doesn't kill the corals, it weakens them to the point of dying. Yes, it weakens them to the point of dying. It weakens them to this extent. Yes, these corals are weakened and weakened until they finally die, okay? This bleaching, okay? It eventually kills them, there really isn't a fatal blow at any moment. So that's what the point is behind using this particular phrase, to the point of dying, okay? It doesn't kill them directly. There's just a long process of stress that then results in them dying or being killed.
Right. And again, if you are under a lot of stress, you might be to the point of quitting your job. It's so stressful, I don't want to work here anymore. So indeed, the corals are weakened. They're made weaker because of coral bleaching, which means it's all turning white. You might want to bleach your hair, for example, as a fashion statement or something like that. But indeed, coral bleaching won't kill the corals, but they'll be weakened. They'll be weaker, and they'll be to the point of dying, and that's not good. Now, polluted waters, overfishing, and over-harvesting of corals also harm reefs. So yes, coral is under threat here from a lot of different sources. Global warming and coral bleaching. We've also got polluted, dirty water. We've got overfishing. People are eating too much seafood, so they're fishing too much. And, of course, over-harvesting of corals. Sometimes people actually go there and take the coral out of the ocean. Maybe they put it in their aquarium or something like that. And all these things together harm or damage those coral reefs.
I've also heard that suntan lotion, certain types of suntan lotion, can also affect coral reefs as well. So, guys,
be careful there, yeah.
Yeah, guys, be careful, and just before you do anything, think of the poor coral reefs. They need you. All right, guys, it's time for us to take a short break right now, but when we come back, we'll be wrapping up our article on coral reefs.
Many things can be done to protect coral reefs. One step that's already being taken is to make them protected areas. On a personal level, we can help by being environmentally friendly and reducing our carbon footprints. Coral reefs are not only beautiful, but they also play an important part in marine ecosystems. Without them, our oceans and our world would be a lot less colorful.
Okay, so we seem to be presenting a rather helpless situation here, or I should say hopeless situation. And you might be thinking, well, it looks like it's too late. The coral reefs are doomed. There's nothing we can do to stop it. But here in the final paragraph, it does say that there is some hope. Many things can be done to protect coral reefs. Okay, what can I do to help protect those coral reefs? Well, one step that's already being taken is to make them protected areas. So, of course, if you want to do something that is complicated, you take many different steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, etc., etc. So here, the first step, or at least one step that we can do, that we can consider, is to protect those areas, make them protected areas, maybe similar to creating a national park or something. That's how Taroko Gorge is protected. Otherwise, people would go in there and steal all the marble rock and sell it for a high price. That's a protected area, so people can't go in there and damage the place.
Protected areas. Sounds like a good idea to me, but what about the global warming? What are we going to do about global warming? That's causing the coral bleaching, after all. Well, on a personal level, we can help by being environmentally friendly and reducing our carbon footprints. This, in the end, will help the coral out. If you reduce your carbon footprint, you will reduce the amount of CO2 that you release into the atmosphere, and in so doing, you will help global warming from getting any worse. Anyways, let's talk about what it means to be environmentally friendly. Okay? Environmentally friendly. What does this mean? It means good for the earth, good for the environment and for nature. It means you're green. It means that you're eco-friendly. It means that you do things sustainably. Yes, my wife and I are definitely environmentally friendly. Okay, we make sure that we buy foods from local farms, and we also refuse to use plastic in any way, shape, or form.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore there, and that would be very difficult in modern society, but it is possible to do that, and I did want to mention that here the word environmentally is almost always used with the word friendly, environmentally friendly, or 环保, as you say in Chinese. Chinese. Yes, recycling plastic or not using plastic at all is environmentally friendly. We can also, of course, reduce our carbon footprints. The footprint, of course, is the mark you leave when you walk through a forest and step in the mud or something like that. So yes, our carbon footprint basically refers to how much carbon or other kinds of nasty chemicals we're putting into the environment, and we want to reduce that carbon footprint as much as we can to help save the Earth.
Okay, folks, we've got 2 more sentences to go. Let's read them right now. Coral reefs are not only beautiful, but they also play an important part in marine ecosystems. For this reason, we shouldn't let them die, because without them, without coral reefs, our oceans and our world would be a lot less colorful. All right, folks, with that, we are through with our lesson, but don't go away. The Chinese teacher is on the way.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分提到，如果没有采取任何措施来保护珊瑚礁，所有活的珊瑚礁可能会在2050年之前消失。那读到这一部分的最后一句 If they disappear, so will many marine species. 如果它们消失了，许多海洋物种也会面临相同命运。那句子里面的 so 在这边是当副词，表示也是也一样。它的用法是 so 加上助动词或 be 动词加上主词。那这样的句型可以用来肯定附和前面的句子。好，那么 so 后方的主词跟 be 动词或者是主词跟助动词必须对调，形成倒装。我们来造2个例句。We heard someone talking downstairs, and so did Eric. 我们听到楼下有人在讲话， Eric 也听到了。我们再用 be 动词来造句。Ben is a hard worker, and so is his brother. Ben 是勤奋努力的人，那他哥哥也是。那我们回头来看课文的句子 If they disappear, so will many marine species. 后半句的 so will many marine species 它是倒装用法，表示说许多海洋物种也会如此。那这个意思就相当于 many marine species will too。 好，接着来看课文第2部分有一个补充单字expel, E-X-P-E-L 这个字它表示驱逐或是排出。那我们来学习它的字首字根 P-E-L 这部分呢，这个字根它有驱动啊、推挤或是鞭策的意思。在 expel 这个字里面 P-E-L 表示推挤，那么 EX 这个字首它有由内向外的意思。当我们把人或是事物由内向外推挤出去，那就有驱逐啊、排出的语义。顺便补充几个有相同字根的单字。Compel 它的字首 C-O-M 表示完全或是一起，那么 P-E-L 表示推挤，所以 C-O-M-P-E-L 这个字同学们就可以试着联想说，在捷运车厢内或是参加跨年活动的时候，人太多了，全部都挤在一起，就算你不想动也会被这个人潮一直推着走，你不得不移动脚步。好，那么 compel 这个字它就有强迫、迫使或是使什么不得不怎么样的语义。至于 propel P-R-O-P-E-L 它的字首 P-R-O 有向前或是在什么之前的语义，那么 P-E-L 表示驱使，所以 propel 它就有推进啊、驱动、驱使的意思。接着请同学们读到课文最后一句 Without them, our oceans and our world would be a lot less colorful. 没有了它们，我们的海洋和世界都将黯然失色。那这边要介绍的是 without 加上名词来搭配假设法主要子句的用法。那这样的用法可以表达出要不是什么什么，如果没有什么什么的语义。那我们来看2个句型。第一种句型是 without 加上名词逗号，主词加上 could, would, might 或是 should 加上原形动词，那这是表达说跟现在事实相反的情况。举例来说 Without water, there would be no life on Earth. 要是没有水，地球上就不会有生命存在。好，那第2种句型是 without 加上名词逗号，主词加上 could, would, might 或是 should 再加完成式，也就是加 have 加上过去分词，这是表达跟过去事实相反的情况。举例来说 Without your help, we wouldn't have succeeded. 要是当时没有你的帮忙，我们就没办法成功了。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Shelter. We took shelter under a bridge when it began to rain.
Unfortunately, tonight's event has been canceled due to low ticket sales.
Temperature. Sharon turned the air conditioner on as the temperature continued to rise. Bleach. The hot sun bleached the fence, so it lost its color. Weaken. Sean's negative attitude weakened the confidence of his teammates. Environmentally. Taipei 101 was designed to be an environmentally friendly skyscraper.
Discussion starter starts now.
The time has now arrived for our discussion starter. Here's the question. What can you do to help protect the world's coral reefs?
Well, one thing I can do to protect coral reefs is to make sure that I reduce my carbon footprint. Like I said before, the less carbon dioxide that you release into the environment, the better it is for everyone involved, because then global warming will stop or will slow down considerably.
Well, another thing I can do is to eat less seafood, especially seafood that comes from the ocean. Maybe I can eat fish that comes from lakes or streams, like trout or salmon, and that way my carbon footprint won't be so big, and the coral reefs will be saved as a result.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.